Hey everybody, and welcome to a sober wild ride with Steve-O. Man, I gotta say that this week's guest, Brandon Novak, has got to be the most recklessly honest guest we have ever had. I'm asking the guy about prostituting himself for drugs, and he's like, oh yeah, you wanna know about every little gross sex act he pulled? You just stay tuned, okay? You stay tuned right here. And where is right here for me? I'm balls deep in my bucket list tour, baby. And you know what that means? I don't have time to go get harassed in some restaurant. No. I'm not even leaving my tour bus at the venue to get my food. And how am I going to get food like this delicious tomato soup that's nice and hot still? DoorDash, baby. And boy, do I have a deal for you. If you want to not get off your sofa and just order up the dopest meal of your choosing, plus get 25% off your first order of $15 or more, and no delivery fees, up to a value of $10, all you got to do, baby, is download the DoorDash app and use the promo code Steve-O. That's right. They love the Wild Ride podcast listeners. So, and one more time, that's 25% off your first order of $15 or more, up to a value of $10 if you download the DoorDash app and use the promo code Steve-O. So, enjoy some DoorDash feast, and let's get into it. Okay, dude, so we're rolling everywhere?
I'm okay over here.
Rolling, Lux? Yeah.
Okay.
Rolling on everything.
See?
I got myself. I thought about it.
You thought about it. It just ricocheted off your hand into my forehead.
As soon as he coughed, I looked up too to see.
Yeah.
Just,
I was recording that whole time.
he's going to forget about it. Well, hopefully we can start it there.
Yeah,
At the
have a cough. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Novak. Yeah, dude.
I'm really stoked to be here, man.
Well, dude, we're stoked to have you. You know, we didn't make it clear on previous podcasts that this is actually our tour bus. It's still a wild ride. If anything, it's even wilder.
Well, if you see this in the background, that's the tour bus.
Right.
And you're on said tour.
Right, and I'm so excited that we, for the first time, are sitting down with a guest who has been present at one of the shows on our bucket list tour.
It's
And we just got done performing right now.
Yeah, it's having known you through a lot of years and a lot of experiences and great memories. I never walk away feeling like I didn't get what I was hoping for. When we were getting loaded, it was insanity, and I've been locked in some hotel rooms with you where you would not let us leave. And this was that, but like on angel dust. You know, like I didn't want to watch it, but I couldn't not watch it, and I found myself like laughing uncontrollably a lot of times.
Well, thanks, dude. Tonight,
I want to fucking kind of fuck Doggo. I got like this intimate feeling from him because he like really took care of you and comforted you in a really extreme time.
Right.
Well, Doggo, you want to explain who Doggo is?
Doggo's the guy who was strapped to my back while I was butt naked and furiously jerking off in the airplane before I blew the load as I fell out with Doggo on my back. And it was great to have you at the show, and it was great that was the biggest audience I've ever performed stand-up for as a headliner.
It's funny because the last show I went to, you were at the smaller venues.
Comedy club.
And you have to like order drinks or food at the table. It's like going to a strip joint. You can't go there and not give money.
Right. It's called a 2-drink minimum.
Yeah, which I get, but the caveat in that plan tonight was that I just ate before I got here, and I'm like, fuck, I don't really want... So when I got here and saw that wasn't the deal, I was really stoked. Right. But then when I saw the crowd, and dude, you're a sober guy, I'm a sober guy, and you got sober years before me, but I've always watched what you've done, and you've provided me with a lot of like motivation and kind of self-assurance in myself through believing in what you're doing. So to see you transition from those small, 2-drink minimum joints to these sold out arenas, it just continues to...
We're not in arenas yet, man, but that's the goal.
Yeah, well, you got to speak it to existence,
Right?
right?
Dude,
That's
right
it,
on, man. Well, thank you, dude. And we don't have to harp on about how amazing the performance was. We can get into other things, dude. There's a lot I want to talk to you about.
Can I start at the beginning with you guys? When did you guys meet? What's your timeline together?
First time that we met, I'm going to guess it was probably like in the filming of... Was it Jackass #2 that you came into the scene?
It was 2, it was when I came into the scene, but remember the Gumball Rally? Was that before?
Yeah, but I wasn't on your Gumball Rally, I don't think.
When we went out, we destroyed that car for BAM. I feel like that was the first night we really...
Hit it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know which came first.
But that was a Jackass #2 situation.
Yeah.
So
I guess the filming of
Wait, were
2.
you not on Viva La Bam?
Yeah.
You were
I
or
was
you
there.
weren't?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Totally. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that the first time I remember would have been like the day when they brought like a snowblower into like April's house and it was like ski down the stairs.
That you're right. That was the first initial meeting.
And dude, it's
Yeah.
your fucking fault, dude, that I got that awful baby tattoo because
I remember
it's your
that.
fucking fault because that day when they filled the house with snow and you went skiing down the stairs and flew through the screen door, it was that same day, and I think it was the first day that we met when I saw your tattoo of 2 male rollerbladers like having missionary gay sex.
Full on.
And I was just like, dude, that is the most aggressive,
I remember, yeah.
like hilarious tattoo. And then like I was like, I gotta one up that.
I remember when you...
That was like my motivation.
and you did.
Like that.
You did.
You did it.
And then people were like, you did. Like, Steve-O, we love you, we're your fan, but...
Yeah. No,
You
that
won.
made your rollerblader sex tattoo look so classy.
I just won by default. Fuck yeah. Story of my life, dude.
Yeah. And
Well, I was so stoked because you were writing a book at the time. You're like, I'm going to use that for the cover of my book.
Oh, I don't know that I was writing a book at that time.
Or you had some kind of book.
I was
thing.
always working on a book, but it was never like a real serious thing until after I got sober.
But nonetheless, like, you were fucking steps and eons ahead of me as far as like the fame with Jackass. So I was just taking it vicariously through you wanting my tattoo on your book. Like, I'll fucking ride that coattail. Let's do it.
Yeah, dude. And suffice to say, you were a mess. You haven't been like very open about your struggles with drugs and alcohol. I thought maybe we could kind of peer into that.
It's something I'm really candid about. I'd like to rather not speak on that.
Is this an exclusive?
Yeah.
I don't know if you let people know, but
Does anyone? I'm sober. But
have you come out and let people know?
I'm fucking sober.
So you are super candid about it, and as somebody who follows you on social media, like it seems that like all the time you're posting, hey, if you need help, like with issues with addiction, then call me.
Yeah.
And you include a phone number there.
Yeah.
Is that actually your number in your pocket? Like it would be ringing all day.
So I have 2 phones that I carry around. One is that number, and if I don't answer that, like if it doesn't work with what I'm doing like right now, then it goes through to a team of people that help aid and assist that person with whatever their situation is.
Okay.
What's the success rate of somebody calling you and getting help and staying sober? I mean, not that there's a percentage, but is it common? I mean, do people actually go through on...
Yeah, totally. You know, it's you have to weed it out. It's like...
Scott knows better than...
No,
the
I mean,
success rates in general with addiction are like...
They're shit.
Just terrible.
Yeah, it makes it very undesirable if you look at the stats. Like, you just think
Well,
you're fighting unwinning cause.
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I first heard the statistics. And
Yeah.
I was in rehab in 1995, and I was only 20 years old. And I was like, wait, 95% of the alcoholics and addicts don't get get sober, like, then why would I even bother? And the statistics kept me loaded.
Totally.
But then once I was ready, I could argue that the statistics kept me sober because I knew that the odds were so against me that I had to just like do everything in my power to give myself an advantage. And it really like made me take it seriously. And so I stayed in sober living until I had 2 years. I did all this stuff to like really give myself the advantage, and that's really why I'm still around.
That's my fucking approach exactly. Like, obviously, I loved drugs and alcohol. I couldn't get enough, right?
Dude, let's not say that in the past tense. I mean, fucking dude, we
Well,
love
still,
drugs.
yeah.
I would love to get loaded.
But now it's like I get off on like the sobriety part of it, right? It's the kind of the closest connection that I have with that past. So it works for me. So me, like you, I remember going to treatment like, this half of the room's dead. This half of the room, look to your right, your left. Well, 2 of those are dead. I'm like,
right
fuck.
now, I think they say, okay, look around.
Yeah.
There's 12 of you. Only one of you's gonna make it.
It's like,
that's what the statistics are.
Dude, why am I wasting my or your time? Just fucking get loaded. And I do that. And so when I got sober, I'm like, dude, fuck statistics. Because the statistics state that I should be high or dead right now. And I'm not.
Yeah.
And it defies odds and logic. So, like, if I can do it, why the fuck can't you?
Right. I think that the problem is that the statistics are for like alcoholics and addicts at large, whereas like when people actually get serious about recovery and start doing the things that we do, then all of a sudden the statistics are a whole different deal.
Yeah, they don't even exist, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you get into this program of recovery and do the things we do, then
it's a pretty simple process.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, because it's something that occurs to me kind of a lot, being someone who follows you, like how just about every post that you put on Instagram, like it almost invariably is related to your recovery.
Yeah.
And then and so I think my question is, how many people have expressed concern that like, whoa, like you're putting it out there so much that like we worry about you?
Sure. Some have, right? Like the people that are pretty close to me have.
Because I identify as one of those people. I think, man, oof, like Novak's putting it out there so much, like as like his identity.
Yeah.
That like it feels like I'm like scared. Like I just worry about it. You know?
Thank you for that. Right, like that. That's what friends are for.
Yeah, dude.
And for me, I kind of treat it as like an added layer of safety. Right, like I'm such an extremist and I'm such a fucking all or nothing that it kind of adds a little more to like what helps keep me like wanting to do this. Like I could easily sneak and let myself down and no one will know. So it's like jumping out of a plane with 2 parachutes as opposed to 1, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I just think like here's what creeps me out, and it creeps me out so much when I heard that the people with the highest rates of relapse are people who work in recovery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so counterintuitive. If you imagined that, like the people who died of cancer the most were doctors who worked with cancer patients, or something.
You think like you should know.
Right. It's counterintuitive.
Absolutely.
Terrible example with the cancer thing, but it just makes me like think, oof, like I want to be so careful to not ever like professionalize, recovery.
To let that become the identity of the individual.
Right, dude. I had this one experience where, I got hired to go to a university, and they did. It was to just do an onstage Q&A about mental health. And I didn't even think about it. They were paying me like, an obnoxious amount of money to go out and like answer questions. I'd go on stage and like, and very quickly, every question that they asked me about mental health, my answer I would find was like, oh, well, I kind of only really know like addictions. I can't speak to, like all the various mental health issues, but like, I see everything kind of through the prism of just like, addiction and alcoholism and recovery. And then like very quickly I realized, oh my God, like I'm here getting paid to share the message of recovery. And the scariest thing of all was after I got done, I had this thought flash through my mind, which was, oh, well, dude, if everything dries up and comedy doesn't work out and like this or that, like, I mean, I suppose I could go around getting paid to talk about recovery. And then I was like, no, you know, I'm like, that's what scares me the most.
Sure. The two things that I know about in this world is skateboarding and drugs and alcohol. Like, that's kind of what I know and I love the most.
And dude, by the way, you are fucking skateboarding, dude. I'm so impressed by the video you showed me before.
Again, and I'm not trying to suck you off live on this show, but seeing the clips that you send me, and I'm like, dude, this is... Because when I got sober, I wanted no part of skateboarding because I felt like it was the love that I let get away.
Have you surpassed a younger you?
Yeah.
Because that's been my goal. Like I was like, man, in my 40s, if I can outskate every younger version of me.
I mean, I have a video part coming out that is by far the best part I've ever put out at 42.
Right, dude.
Right? Like, I'm still learning tricks. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, like physically, mentally.
But we have to fight so hard to get a trick.
I saw your post the other day when you slammed that kickflip. I could relate to, like, I saw it in your face.
I'm still sore.
Yeah. Like, I need a walker for like 5 days after I skate. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's a lot
dude.
hard. I can't flip the board much these days.
Steve, have you surpassed the old skateboarding you?
There are certain things that I just will never be able to do again that I could do at a certain time, you know? But what I've been going after, and like when I try to get a new trick, it's such a battle. But the tricks that I have gotten are things that I either have never done before or are like way bigger versions of something I've done before. So like I have outskated myself, but leaving out a bunch of stuff that I could never do that I could do before.
I noticed that I start really kind of talking myself out of things that I could probably do. Like, oh, well, it's pretty dicey. I could get hurt. Where before, that was never the mind frame. It was like, do first, think last. Now I'm kind of being really cautious, overly maybe. And
that's so funny.
We can like keep a tally for those.
Before we start recording,
You didn't go
Scott's
that way.
like, Steve
You went
coughs
that way.
towards me every time. And I just did that. Again, I have coughed towards you every time.
In your life. Not just on the podcast.
Okay.
but hey, who's counting?
So, dude, like, here's another question. When you were in the throes of addiction, you know, actively shooting up as much as you possibly could,
Yeah.
like, how did you not get, like, AIDS and shit? Were you, like, sharing needles and shit? Did you just get super lucky? Man, how did you not get AIDS when you're sharing needles? Is that a question or what? Plus, Brandon Novak has no problem telling you exactly what the answer is. And I got no problem telling you how I don't get sick on tour. Because I take care of my hydration, man, and my vitamins. And how do I do that? With Liquid IV. This doesn't just make you more hydrated and healthier. It tastes absolutely delicious. I got all these killer flavors, and you know what I'm going for today? Strawberry, baby. And so I just take one stick, little packet of Liquid IV, drop it into 16 ounces of water, and boom, it's like I drank 3 16 ounces of water. That's what I'm talking about, man. And convenient 16-ounce can of liquid death makes it real easy to just drop that all in there. This is how I start my day, man. And with extra hydration, extra vitamins, I don't worry about getting sick because I can't be missing shows on my tour. Hell no. All right. So if you go to liquidiv.com and use the promo code STEVO, you get 25% off of anything you want to get. And trust me, you want to get it. So to get that 25% off of anything you want to order at liquidiv.com, use the promo code STEVO, baby. And never miss a show, never get sick, and keep rocking on tour. Yeah, dude. Now let's talk about not getting AIDS.
My newest book that came out, there's a chapter called The AIDS Needle That I Shot Up With. And like, things got really bad. I'm living in these abandoned houses in East Baltimore, and I remember I was doing my deal, and the needle jammed up, right? And it's like the middle of the night, and so I'm look on this floor, and it's just polluted with all these dirty needles, used needles. And I literally, kind of process of elimination, looked for the one that was the least used.
You're like,
right?
this one doesn't have AIDS on it. This one does. This one doesn't.
This one probably out of all of them might not. Like, this is my best shot of
Don't you give yourself a pretty good chance if you just flush it through with water?
bleach.
Okay, but even water would help, right? Because what it is about hypodermic needles that makes it so dangerous for HIV is that in that hollow needle in there, the HIV virus is not exposed to air. Like on a tattoo needle, it's a solid needle, so everything's exposed to air. It's very difficult to get AIDS from that.
At that point in time in my life, I had no idea of any of that knowledge. That wasn't my reference.
Right.
You know,
you
it was
just
like
flush through.
I'm just like sick. Let's do it.
Right.
And I used the needle, and
you're making it sound like it was one night. You're telling me you never shared names.
I did, but this is the one time where like I thought like I definitely just got it, right? Like it was one time that was really stuck out above all the other times that I've shared needles, right? And I've done it often at that point in time. So a few months later down the line, I'm sick, and there's this place. It's kind of like a health clinic, and they're paying you $30 to get blood work done. So they pay you $30 to get the blood work done, and then they give you they give you $20 to come back and pick the results up. So
it's a medical study, and they're testing like different ways of.
They want the drug addicts to come in to get tested, so they know they'll do that with the money, and then the $20 on the back end to pick it up to get the results. So when you come in, they're also giving you clean needles, because it's kind of a harm reduction deal. Right,
and I think there's a great many addicts that just don't want to know if they have HIV or not, and so they're really paying you $20 to inform you, because should the addict know that they have HIV, then maybe they'll be a little bit more responsible about spreading it.
Ignorance is no longer bliss.
Right.
Point proven. So I go $30, let them take the test. Cool. No intentions ever to go back and get the results, because I'm fucking.
You're like, dude, I don't need $20 that bad.
No,
I'm living in a dumpster, but
legit. Until one day I needed the $20 that bad, right? So I go back.
Were you so scared?
Terrified, and they give me the 20, and the doctor's there, and I said, look, doctor, please, I beg you, just don't tell me if I have HIV. You can tell me anything else. Just give me it all but that. And he says, well, the good news is you don't have HIV, but the bad news is you have hepatitis C. And I fucking high-fived him. He's like, what the fuck?
Oh,
Dude, I remember when I went, I had my family all giving me a hard time about my lifestyle and my addiction, and I was like, look, I'm gonna go to this fucking executive health program and get the most comprehensive checkup known to man, because Dr. Drew told me about it. It wasn't even covered by insurance because it was just so extra. You know? And I'm like, I'm gonna get tested, every fucking test you can possibly, and if I come back healthy, then you guys get off my back. And I was just like, dude, of course I'm gonna come up clean. So I go up, get all these tests, and then the doctor calls, like, hey, I need to give you your results in person.
Oh,
that's not
that's
good.
a horrible sign.
So I go in there and I'm thinking, fuck, man, what's wrong with my wiener, right?
I'm scared for you right now.
I go into the doctor's office and I'm like, doc, is it my wiener? You know, is it like I'm thinking I've got some terrible STD. He goes, no, your wiener's fine. And I'm like, whoa, yeah. and he says, oh no, it's your heart. He says, you've got a heart condition. You've got the heart of an 80-year-old man.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't see you living to the age of 40 or something like that. And I was like, high five.
Yeah, right?
Fuck my heart. My wiener's cool.
I'll fuck my way into heaven.
Yeah, and then it turned out that I had very borderline cardiomyopathy, minor.
So did you do what was
my heart's
necessary?
chilling.
You're good.
I think my heart's good, dude.
Hey, how do you get into shooting dope? I mean, I know it's obvious. Like, did you start with Vicodin and you went to Oxy and then you're like, fuck, it's just cheaper to get heroin? Or like, what's the psychology? Because not a
It's
lot of
old
people,
school.
but not a lot of people decide to inject in their vein. Like, what was that decision like the first time injecting into your veins?
So no, I didn't start with the pills. It kind of went from the herb to the blow to I did Grateful Dead tour for a little bit, and I did
Wait, what year?
96, 95, 94.
Well, Jerry died in 95.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to be because I was supposed to be at the last show they played Unbroken Chain at Charlotte Coliseum, which is where I got arrested, so I didn't get to see him play the song. So definitely 95 because I was at that show, and before. My reference of years is fucked, but that was the first time I was arrested at 17, and in Mecklenburg, I ended up going to Mecklenburg State Penitentiary because you're an adult at 17 from the fucking Grateful Dead show. But point being is when I got into Dead Tour, I got into it for selling drugs and like making good money, not
Sure.
for the music.
Me too, man. I went to every single show on the East Coast 94 tour of the Grateful Dead.
What kind of drugs were
I
you
think
guys
I
selling?
got on probably maybe then, but a little right after. So I might have just missed you.
I mean, dude, I would show up to the show like with my car on fumes, you know.
Yeah.
I had this used car. It'd be on fumes, and I would like go like do a backflip for like like a buck or something. I'd do like 5 backflips for $1, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, like I've got $5, and then I would like. For $5, I would go to a deadhead and get like 3 hits of acid.
Yeah.
And then I would take each hit of acid and go sell them for $5. Now I've got $15. And then I would take that $15 and go buy like an eighth of weed.
That's it.
And then like once I had the eighth of weed, I would sell that for like fucking $30. And then now I got $30 and I go and fucking buy a bag of mushrooms.
It's just a constant come up. So I was riding for Pal at the time, and I would go and I'd have boxes of boards, and I'm just selling boards on the lot, trading them for tickets, you name it.
Yeah.
And
so you're a fan of Grateful Dead music?
yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I've
me
noticed
too.
that I listen to it more now with my age. I'm just kind of at that point in my
Scott
life.
and I are big.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I've kind of come back. I missed the whole Fish era. That didn't really do it for me because I did Dead Tour. So it was like, not my. But anyway, so I meet up with this guy out of San Francisco who lays grams of acid, lays crystal grams. So we're getting like 20 10-packs at a time books.
10 packs of sheets of blotter acid.
So it's
that's
1,000
like
hits.
like a sheet has 100 hits.
So there's 1,000 in a book.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting like, this guy's coming with the raw gram and he's actually laying it in a hotel, and me and a couple other dead, we go in, and I get this paper one night, and the guy who's going to buy a few books doesn't have all the cash, but he has some heroin.
How much would a book be?
For me, at that level where I was getting it right from the guy
Wholesale?
laying the grams, like $300-400
And then how much can you make off that?
For 1,000
for
hits.
1,000 hits. And this is back in '95.
1,000 hits, so at $5 a hit, that's 5,000. So you're more than 10 times in your money.
Easily. But I wasn't doing that. I was still selling it in books for like 800 and still doing great. Because we had
Right,
so
wow.
much.
If you get caught with a book,
It's
you
called-
are
I mean, dude, if
It's-
you get caught with
attempting to
3 hit.
They charge you with attempting to overthrow the government with that.
I mean, dude, they're
Really?
like the
Yeah, it's
Grateful
gnarly.
Dead tour. There are still people in prison from
Yeah, oh.
the Grateful Dead tour was just a fucking left a just in its wake just people in prison for decades.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
How do you know that? Your documentary?
I don't know if it was a documentary, but
Or just friends I know.
It's facts.
It's fucking
It's
facts. I mean, dude,
widely
like,
known.
I didn't hear about overthrowing the government, but I know that like a lot of acid. If you've got LSD, that's a fucking
Oh, dude.
heavy crime.
It's
dude.
serious.
How long do you go to jail for if you get caught overthrowing the government?
Fuck.
I don't
I
know
mean,
why
treason,
acid's
bro.
overthrowing the government, but
Huh?
Is it because it's
You get
like
beheaded.
It's like you can brainwash people or something like
I don't
that.
know.
But we still didn't get to the heroin.
Yeah.
So I sold this guy. So back to the heroin.
And cue.
And the heroin.
And if you didn't know,
Needles.
I'm sober too, guys.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
sober guy here.
Needles, heroin, you're on.
Did heroin doesn't do heroin. And here we go.
And if you need help, call me.
So you're buying books of acid.
Yeah, we have a guy flying in from San Francisco who's laying raw grams, and that leaves us with lots of books. And one night, this guy was short on the cash, so he gave us some heroin. And I was like, cool, whatever. Paid no mind to it.
What kind of heroin? Tar?
No,
White-
China white?
Yeah.
He flew in from San Francisco. We were in Baltimore, so it was like just white raw dope, not
Okay.
like the West Coast Chiva tar. And I just put it in my sock drawer, like totally didn't think about it, forgot about it. A few days later, we're catching the Greyhound bus to, I forget what show it was. We were jumping back on tour. And my buddy's like, you got the dope. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. So in my mother's bedroom at my mother's house at just turned 17,
How much dope was it?
it was like $200 worth.
Okay, so what's that? Like
Like
grams, 8 ball?
maybe like a gram. It was raw heroin, so you don't get a lot there. But we did it, and I
You snorted it.
snorted it and instantaneously threw up. So that continued on. But how I went from that to shooting it was...
Well, because snorting, it's just fucking wasteful.
What,
Yeah.
did you like it when you started it?
Yeah, I loved it. But you build a tolerance,
Yeah.
right? And you need more, and you got to spend more to get that same high.
And so, like, everybody does heroin for their first time. They're like, I would never shoot up.
Totally.
But then you're snorting it or smoking it, and, like, you develop a tolerance. It's not getting you, and you're like, fuck, man. Like, I
And then
love heroin, and I just, like, I can't not shoot up because it's just not economical, and I want to actually get that feeling stronger.
And then someone like me comes along and says, dude, if you fucking shoot up like a half of a dime bag, you'll be just as high as sniffing that 300. And you know what I mean? And so all of a sudden, shooting up is not so taboo anymore.
Did you ever shoot anybody up for their very first time?
No, I wasn't good at, I could do me. But,
But
I
how
wasn't
do
like
you
a-
learn how to shoot up?
I got some words of wisdom for you. Don't shoot up. How about that? Yeah. And you want some real wisdom? Let me tell you this saying I heard. The only beverage of the wise man is water. And you can get your water in a super cool looking tall boy can that looks just like a beer and is infinitely recyclable from Liquid Death. I'm telling you, man, it's the easiest way to stop drinking a bunch of super unhealthy soda to switch to Liquid Death sparkling water. And you're not just making a healthy choice for yourself, you're making a healthy choice for Mother Earth, man, because the environment is getting devastated by plastic, which is why infinitely recyclable cans from Liquid Death are saving the world. And I'm telling you, man, I'm a lot healthier because I'm drinking a lot more water, staying hydrated in the mornings with my Liquid Death spring water and drinking my Liquid Death sparkling water throughout the day. Now, you want to know how cool this company is? They're giving you the craziest deal. You go to liquiddeath.com/Stevo and you get free shipping on all your orders of water and merch. And they've got killer merch. Do you know how crazy that is? Like cases of water, they weigh a lot. To ship them, that's expensive, and you don't have to pay it. If you go to liquiddeath.com/Stevo, you get free shipping on your orders, man. That's because Liquid Death is a cool company, and they love the listeners of the Wild Ride podcast. So get on over to liquiddeath.com/Stevo, and let's talk about how you learn how to shoot up.
Like, I know a buddy of mine who was in there and watched a YouTube video.
That's fucking advanced. Like, I didn't do that.
Dude,
I would give someone a little bit.
Can you look up on YouTube how to shoot up heroin and see
Sure.
up a video of
Sure.
fucking Bob's?
That's
Or
insane.
let you guys
how to
know.
like use a needle, you
Yeah.
know?
How to...
But how do you? Who teaches you that?
So I would give somebody a little bit to do it for me at first.
what a pussy.
And then, oh,
I'm just
absolutely.
kidding.
And then after I got tired of giving it to him, I learned real quick.
Somebody, I mean, dude, you're a
I
piece of
haven't-
shit if you shoot somebody up for their first time.
Yeah, but I mean, you are, but you're already so disconnected from reality that, like, why would that not make sense?
I guess you're maybe
there's
part of you.
no ethics and morals involved of like when you're
that-
smacked
yeah,
up.
at that point in time.
Were you ever in a situation where someone OD'd and just everyone's like, let's dip? Or like throw them in a dumpster?
No, that's
Jesus.
fucking callous. Even at that point, I
Right.
don't know if I would. It happens.
Right, it happens all the time.
Nah, I like to think of myself as a fucking junkie with morals. Like, I actually was like I think a good person.
Here, hold on to this 100 for me.
Yeah, I would steal that. But I wouldn't let you die. You know, fuck.
Right, did you find anything? Oh my god.
Ah,
How
yeah.
did
So
that-
this video is safer heroin injecting. how to do it the safest way possible. It started. He was like washing his hands at the beginning.
There you go.
That's
And showing you how
Scott.
to
A
do
man
it.
after my own heart.
722,000 views.
722,000
And how long?
views.
What? How long is the video? 3 minutes.
You know, okay. Yeah. How many months has it been out, or how
Oh,
many
I'm
years?
sorry. It's 8 years. It's
Oh,
been out.
700.
So maybe it's the video your buddy saw.
It could be.
Wow.
They were doing it
dude.
safely.
But so when you're shooting up, like, what do you're flicking it to get the bubbles out because you'll die if a bubble gets into your veins?
They would say that an air bubble could create something in your veins. You know, I just did it because that's just what I saw other people doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to, like, I wasn't reinventing the wheel here.
And the first time you get shot up with it, you're just like, oh dear God.
So the first time I got shot up with, though, was not that way, right? So I'm sniffing it, and then my girlfriend at the time, we're driving through this reservoir, and she nods out, and my head, and gets to a car accident, and my head goes through the windshield, right? So I'm in the hospital, and they have me with all these IVs. And a guy brings me heroin to the room, and he just puts it right into the IV that then goes in my arm. So
Did he have to cook it on a spoon?
Yeah.
Before
In the
dumping it
hospital room?
totally in the hospital room, and then that was my first, way of injecting it.
that's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
epic.
And you like it?
I loved it. So do you know when in the
That's
hood,
so
like
gnarly.
when addicts get really bad and they kind of blow out of their veins and they have to go to the hospital and the hospital puts an IV in, they'll leave with the IV just
The
because they have a
Heplock.
direct main line.
Yeah.
Because they can't
Oh.
hit it on their own.
Holy moly.
Right. You don't want to close that door if
Yeah.
it's open. Yeah.
So they'll like legit go there to get them to run an IV on you for whatever they say they need or however they can make it happen, and then walk out of the hospital with the fucking
Wow.
IV bag. And
How long is that good for? How long can you keep it?
I don't know.
Until it falls out?
Yeah, I'm sure they're
Until
not too
it's an
worried.
abscess. Did you ever have
I
abscesses?
never had an abscess.
Is there a point where like a rock bottom of like, fuck, dude, I'm shooting up in my toes now, or am I shooting
I
up
shot
in my
up
dick?
bleach one time. That was pretty bad.
you
Why-
injected bleach?
Yeah, because so I'm living with this woman named Annette in these projects that no white people really belong in. It's and I couldn't leave the house to go cop. Right, it was like a really rough neighborhood, and so she would go. But one day I didn't have any money, so she goes out to cop, and when she leaves, I get her needles and her spoons, and I'm like putting water on the spoons and getting like her leftovers, like a hot shot of her leftovers. But I'm also using her needles.
Scraping the resin.
Yeah, but
So
I'm,
you're like, I'm shooting up her blood, so I should probably mix some bleach into it, but there's a little bit of heroin in
but
there.
I'm in a hurry, right? I'm in a hurry because Annette's gone. So time is of the essence. Because if she comes back and catches me in her shit, she's gonna fuck me up. So I'm like, I have a thing of water and a thing of bleach.
You don't fuck with a
And
And a
net.
thing of blood and a thing of heroin.
So I'm rushing to. I get the water cooled down, and then the bleach. I'm hurrying up and pushing it through, and then I intend to put the needle in the water to then put on the res. But I'm in such a hurry, I put the bleach on the res, and I cook it. And when it comes back, it has a yellow tint, just like heroin does, anyways.
Bleach?
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I have a great shot here. Like, I'm gonna actually get high off this. And I put it in me, and I probably maybe like 5 cc's, so it's not much. It's like, and about 2 in, I feel like an internal inferno that is like, but I'm in such denial that it's not heroin. I still continue to put it in because
Ugh.
like I can't believe that.
Wow, dude.
And at the time, I have warrants for my arrest. So although I realize I just shot up this bleach, I cannot call 911 because I'll go to jail. So I just sit in the corner and just dump water over my head, over and over and.
Because you're on
over.
fire.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck.
man, so you're telling me that like that you can shoot up bleach and you're okay?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm here.
5 cc's.
So
5
5
cc's,
cc's. Wow.
So
Like,
it's about that much.
But it was probably, oh, wow, dude. Does any part of you want to be like, dude, I'm going to film a gnarly stunt. Hey, everybody, I'm Brandon Novak, and this is shooting up bleach.
Absolutely not.
He never wants to do it.
Does anybody
Never wants
you
to
want
do
to
it
do
again.
it? You're like,
Why?
because if you're not going to do it, I'll do it.
For the record, can I have that bit if you don't
Yeah,
want it?
yeah. Can I use that?
Do I have your blessing?
After you showed it, I did. It would not shock me at all, man. Fuck.
Dude,
Yeah.
you could like,
I watched.
because there was the joke that's like, you can get rid of COVID by like taking bleach.
Right.
If you get COVID,
that was what
try
Trump told
it.
everybody.
Try
Yeah,
it.
Trump-
Injecting bleach. See what
Trump
happens.
put that
no
out
good.
there.
That's no good.
Well, it didn't cure me of the fucking hepatitis I had, so I don't know why I would like do the bleach.
Okay.
It,
Well-
it's sort of what's up with the hepatitis?
Well, they have pills now that gets rid of it.
So check this out. So I continue going. I go to a doctor. Right when there's a pill called Harvoni that had just hit the market. It was cleared by the FDA, but insurance companies like didn't know what to do with it. It was right in that weird window of time of like everyone just didn't know it was a cure for hepatitis C. Go to the doctor, and the doctor's assistant had read my book because Dream Seller had already been out.
This was the first book.
The first
and
book.
I got so mad at you.
Yeah, rightfully so. Like, what the fuck's wrong with
Dude,
you?
we're on the set of Jackass 3D, and he's all fucked up. But his book just came out, and I actually like gave it an effort to read the book, and in the book he describes like addiction, like the whole situation, like recovery, like what it's about, like what is it? He's just like, I was like, this fucking asshole has a complete understanding of like what the disease is, like what it's like, and he's describing like, but he's just loaded and wasted. I was just so fucking frustrated and offended by it because I was like a couple years sober at that time, and I'm like, dude, how do you write this book that like eloquently describes recovery and you just fucking are a
said that to
wasted
him?
piece of shit? Yeah.
And what'd you say? You remember that?
I don't even remember the conversation. I wasn't offended that much. I didn't lose sleep.
Damn.
But
So you
that's
were.
the thing. I was too smart for my own fucking good.
Yeah.
So anytime that
Yeah.
I found myself in a position where I could potentially save my life, I'd outthink myself out of it every time. I dumbed my way into sobriety this time. If you didn't know, I'm sober.
So you were shooting dope for like a decade at least.
Oh fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
long
but
were you shooting
before,
dope
before
for?
Oxy became a deal,
Yeah,
right?
that one. Yeah, I did heroin first and then backtracked to the pills.
Oh, really?
Because then, like, you know, I
you had
started
money.
ending up on like Jackass and Viva La Bam, and I got like some recognition, and I'd be like, Doc, man, like I'm fucked. I broke this, hurt that. Like, oh, no problem, you know. And I get the pills then.
What's a worse detox, Oxy or heroin?
They're both kind of one and the same. It wasn't, you know.
Yeah,
It
it's
all
like what-
sucked.
It's like what gets you more stoned, hash or weed?
Yeah,
But
total. Great analogy.
What about methadone? Did you
That's
get
the
it?
fucking
Methadone's
worst.
the worst. Liquid
I was
handcuffs.
scared to do that. I tried to shoot that once.
What about
that
Suboxone?
backfired. Yeah, I do that in detox. I tried to shoot that once too. That was fucking horrible.
Yeah, dude, it's all bad news.
It
So
is.
you're talking about Viva La Bam and Jackass.
Yeah.
So, how much in contact are you with Bam these days?
Not much at all, which is
I
good.
reached out to him like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and it was the first time I actually didn't hear back.
Which is
I
a
think
good
is a good
thing.
sign, yeah.
Right now, knowing where he's at and the position he's in, no news is good news, and I know that he was at a position in his journey with his recovery that he could have a phone briefly.
Yeah.
He kind of earned that,
I think he's allowed to have a phone right now, and he's just choosing to not use it, which is the best fucking sign.
I wish that was the case.
Oh, okay.
So
that would. You're right. I'm like, fuck. There's a sign of hope here.
is he
Right.
out and about or is he in
No,
somewhere?
so he had the phone, and because he wasn't doing what should be done, they took the phone back from him.
Got it.
So
So
he's
that's
in a
why I didn't hear back from him.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, he's in a program, and the good thing is now is he's got like he's under a conservatorship, you know, and
It's not a conservatorship; it's a guardianship.
oh really?
The conservatorship
Britney Spears.
has financial implications. With the conservatorship, they're in charge of all of your money and everything. A guardianship, they kind of leave your money out of it.
Yeah.
And the guardianship, they're just like kind of there's rules you have to abide by, and he's like forced to be in.
How long do you have to be like that for?
I think that I don't know that if we're really even allowed to talk about it too much, but as I understand it, it's like still happening.
Yeah,
we'll leave it at that.
And the good thing is it's kind of doing for him what he can't do for himself.
Right. I agree. I agree very much, and it like even bringing up Bam is just like a lightning rod of like controversy and shit.
It
I
really
think that
is.
What,
It's a shame.
What I want to say is that, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, is that I've always, not always, I used to always be so jealous of him. He was such a fucking, just ambitious, fucking, like, just talented, like, he was so good at making footage so funny and like just making great, amazing footage out of like nothing even happening. And I was like, man, for me to get footage, I gotta like do something huge, you know? Like I couldn't just make footage out of nothing like that.
All you had to do was get a fucking dog. Fucking idiot.
That's right. I know. But like, and I'd always say, Bam's younger than me. He's richer than me. He's like, he's better looking than me. He's more talented than me. Like, you know,
Sure.
like, and all of that was true. And I now with everything going on, like, I wish that we could have the Bam back who I was always so jealous of. I would love to be jealous of him again. And I want that for him. I want him.
Isn't it crazy how the world works and kind of goes full circle? You know, how you would now give anything to have that guy back that at one point in time you were very jealous of. Isn't
Well,
that-
yeah, I mean,
I see what you're saying, but it's...
right. And when I say jealous, I think that's just my natural default
Sure,
reaction
absolutely.
to being impressed by somebody. You know, like when I go to the circus, I'm fucking jealous as
Totally.
hell of the performers because I want to be that rad.
And that's why you are that rad, dude. It's fucking Steve-O's Wild Ride Tour here. Let's fucking come, and I'm sober. But no, I accredit. He's my best friend in the world. If it wasn't for him, I'd be buried in that plot that my mother bought me in Baltimore. Like he was the one that stopped what he was doing and reached out to me and said, "Yo, come to Westchester,
Right.
live with me, like skate again."
And wasn't that like a super misguided exercise in enabling you in the big picture? And he brought you the enough fame and recognition for you to just keep staying sick.
But I don't believe that he could comprehend
Right, of course not.
what was going on.
Of course not. He
So,
thought he was helping you, but he was doing
knowing
more
what I
and
know
more.
now, yes, it was like a
Right.
terrible recipe for fucking disaster.
Right, and you were just
But-
this weird whipping boy for him.
But if you look at this, if you weigh out the scales of justice, it's that in that world, or like being homeless, shooting up bleach in Baltimore. So it's like,
Right. And then he had at his house like a garage that was just filled with like Bam skateboards and you would just go and
oh yeah,
pilfer that
yeah.
shit. You'd like when you're on Dead Tour, except that
It was shit wasn't mine. Kyle wasn't sending me those boards.
Yeah.
Right, and it wasn't Dead Tour. It was the crack house.
Yeah,
How much did you like crack?
I didn't. I was scared.
Oh wow.
I had enough common sense to be scared, because like people would offer me hits and I would take them far and few in between, but I could barely come up with $10 a day sometimes, let
Right.
alone like every 20 minutes. So
Right.
I knew I didn't need to like embark
That's how
on
I was
that.
with meth. Like I was like really weirded out by it, but I never turned it down.
How many
Now
times did
that's
you
a
meth?
fucking quote.
Yeah.
That's tattoo worthy.
How many times do you think
I
you
did
did meth?
meth plenty. Like in the early days, like when I lived in Albuquerque in like 97,
Albuquerque's a place for that.
97, 98.
When in Rome.
Like, and it was just like weird biker meth. It was like old school meth where if you snorted a line, it was like you snorted broken glass.
Yeah.
It was so gnarly. It was
Burns.
fucking hurt.
You want to cut your nose off. Before
like-
it was like the thing.
Yeah, right. And then there was a lot of smoking meth out of light bulbs and shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I never really was too into it. I mean, I was always like sure, but. So yeah, what else, what other like fucking salacious shit do we want to ask? Okay,
I got some-
I've got one. Like, talk to me about like fucking like prostituting yourself for drugs. Is it true that you did like
Yeah.
crazy fucking like weird gay stuff and you're not gay?
I would let men blow me. I would never blow the men.
Okay.
Right? There was standards there. Yeah.
Is this in your book?
Yeah. It's how my first book starts. It's the very first chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're okay with just going hard in the paint on this one right here?
It's like a Monday morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt pretty comfortable asking that question.
Yeah.
Because Brandon's an open book.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
totally. If I'm not, I'll just not answer it.
Right.
But yeah, so it got to a point where, you said it tonight, with your Lux, you're in this amazing relationship, and she says, hey, we're in a relationship, but you say it better than I'll fuck this up, but intimate, you don't need to show your body to everybody.
Right.
And you're like, but everything's a million times funnier if I'm naked.
Right.
So for me, I had did so many things in addiction, right? Like the prostitution parts, to then like, my character on Viva La Bam was Nudie Novak, so it was just naked everywhere, and then like we were doing the Fuckface Unstoppable tour, which was Bam's band.
Yeah.
And I remember doing this interview in Australia, and the interviewer said, we hear that there's like some homosexual tendencies that take place on stage. Are you a homosexual? And I'm like, are you calling me gay? And I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, you're calling me gay? And I push him down, and I pull his pants down, and like, bam, a couple people hold him down, and I pull his dick out, and I do 2 pumps just to prove that I wasn't gay. And I left the fucking interview, So I did all this weird shit, and this is how I realized that I wasn't gay. And I love gay people. It's
because you did 2 pumps,
Yeah.
like of his dick in your mouth,
just to prove that
and
I
you
wasn't.
didn't enjoy it. You're like, right there.
That
wasn't my thing.
Well, here's where I realized it wasn't my thing. Later on down the road, I end up in this recovery house, and I want to like jerk off one day, and
Dude, that's a serious crime to like physically like push someone down, hold them down.
That's why I
Suck
stumbled
their
over that really fast. I was hoping you didn't.
Yeah.
I was like on the next, hoping
Right.
that.
What year was that?
Fuck, everything's kind of a blur during those years. Probably 2008.
Good. Statute of limitations.
Yeah, it was at least whatever it needs to be. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Great point.
But okay, so you let guys suck your dick, but you never sucked anyone else's dick unless they called you gay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But would you jerk guys off?
No, it was never like a thing.
Right.
Like that's not really what they were looking for. For some reason, that's a thing in that world.
You let guys suck your dick, but what if they wanted to eat your ass?
I used to live with this guy.
Would that be like more?
I would negotiate totally,
Yeah.
but I used to let a guy shave my asshole. He just wanted to shave it.
For how much?
Wow.
Like $20-$40. I lived with him. $20-$40, whatever he had.
You're like, fuck, man. Like,
just shave it.
like
Cool.
Interesting.
how
They
much
have
should you have to
weird
grow
fetishes.
it out for him to pay you again?
I
6
wasn't
hours.
really a health and wellness kind of guy at that point, so when he was ready, I dropped trowel. Like, it wasn't anything great going on. But so I ended up in this recovery house, and this is back when VCRs are in play. And
Right.
and I want to jerk off, and there's these 2 guys, Brian and Donovan, who are like openly, flamboyantly gay guys, and they're amazing guys. But I'm looking all through the house for a porn, can't find one. And in Brian's room, he's not there. There's a porn in the VCR, and I press play, and it's a gay porn. And I'm like, you know what? This is a perfect time for me to answer the fucking inevitable question, am I gay? And I watched the porn with a complete open mind to see if I got a hard cock, and I didn't. So I think that kind of answered the question.
But did you try?
I wasn't opposed to it, like I was.
So she did try.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
You were
well,
You're open to it. You welcomed
I
it.
like held my dick, kind of like caressed it, danced with it a little bit.
All right.
Took it on a
Flipped it.
date.
It
So
didn't
you jacked
return.
off to gay porn.
Technically.
I mean, you gave
I
it the old
played
college
ball.
try. You know,
I did. But I mean, I also have, I have a guys come in me, but I've never been fucked. It's like kind of like that magic trick where you get on your back and you drink the thing with your feet.
Right,
but you
right,
never,
right.
So me and Bam were like up doing blow for like 5 days straight, and after like day 3, delusional, paranoid
Sure.
shit gets weird. So 5 a.m., probably 4th or 5th day in, out of our minds, hadn't slept a minute. We're shooting a game of pool, and we have one of our tattoo artists there with us. I win the game of pool. We then go into the bedroom. I lay on the bed. Bam puts a pillow over my head. He pulls a laptop out and puts porn on and jerks off and comes onto my arm. And then we bring the tattoo artist in,
Jesus.
and he traces around it, and then without no ink on it, he then puts the cum into my arm. See that right there?
That's cum?
cum.
In me.
That's
but
a rope.
he's never fucked in me. You know what I mean?
Wow. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah,
That's
that's an
the
NBD
dude.
right there.
Dude, they got blood brothers and then they got cum brothers.
Yeah. But the whole thing is just so wrong that it's kind of right.
Dude,
I won the game of pool.
It's not even that wrong.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
you won.
dude.
Fucking
I used
trying
to
shit out.
like bet people $100 if they could guess what it was, and then one time I was in the airport and the bartender, who was a pretty openly gay guy, I'm like, yo, if you can guess what this is, I'll give you $100. He goes, oh, honey, that's cum. I'm like, fuck. My one glass of wine I had to tip $100 on because I only had a card. I'm like, dude, that's it.
That's
That's so
hilarious.
funny, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's epic, man. Dude, I love that you're so candid and transparent, dude.
It's why not, man?
Right, dude. I fucking dig that. And to be clear, I really hope that I wasn't disrespectful in any of it. It wasn't my intention to be.
Dude, I know that it would never be, right?
Right.
Like, I know you, and I know I know what your sobriety is like, and I know that you're way past that point of, like, trying to pull, like, out of left field thing.
Sure, I'm not out to make anybody feel bad. I'm not out to, like, you know,
I know that.
to harm anybody. But at the same time, I also, like, just don't know how to have a filter. And so if I'm curious about something, I'm just going to...
Dude, there was one
blurt it
point
out.
where I was like, I was switching sponsors. I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll ask Steve-O to be my sponsor.
Wow.
And my next thought was like, dude, he's way too sober. I'm, like, too nervous to, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah?
Because I know how, like, transparent, how authentic, and how much you work this. And I don't know if I wanted to, like, level up that much.
I
Yeah,
didn't
I
think
don't
it's
know
a
that that
leveling
matters.
up. It's like you don't want your
Just
friends
check
to
it out.
sponsor.
Yeah, you don't want to have like a relationship. You know, that would be to tangle the wires a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I would say that.
I learned immensely from you. You know,
Well, right on,
I really pay close attention to what you do from a fucking
I did.
distance.
There was a point, and we won't say what it was, but a point when you called me up for advice, like pretty recently.
Yeah.
And and you know, it impressed me and it helped me.
Really?
You know, like, yeah, you know that when people reach out for help, that you're actually helping the person who you reach out to.
A helps, B helps, A the
Right.
most kind of deal.
Yeah, and you know, and I was impressed, and it meant a lot to me to help you kind of navigate that situation that you found yourself in.
And it was heavy, and I wouldn't just call anybody. So,
Right.
like, to share something with you.
For sure.
So, for you to say, oh, I hope you didn't, I would never, you know what I mean? Like,
No, dude, like,
I
to
fucking
me, it was
know
a
you.
no-brainer. It was-
Yeah.
to me, it was
And
a no-brainer,
I agree.
and-
Who
yeah.
the fuck wants to listen to a really jaded, guarded podcast? Like, fuck it.
Right.
Let's, like, be transparent and talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. So what?
Where can people get a hold of you?
Well,
You should put your number on the bottom of the
Like,
screen.
we're gonna need to
hold
run that
the
on the
whole
bottom
time,
of this.
a chyron for the whole bit.
That'd be hilarious.
And like, how much of your livelihood is within the sort of parameters of recovery versus like other?
So when I
Yeah.
got sober and I kind of got into that world of part of it being a job, you know, I called my sponsor, who's a private therapist, and I said, Lex, what do you think about this? And he goes, well, what I'm going to tell you is, and he had at the time 13 years sober. He said, I'm going to tell you, most people in the industry that
The
are
industry
sober
of recovery?
recovery that work on the industry side don't stay sober.
Right.
Exactly what you said. He
Right.
said there's a fine line. There's work and then there's your sobriety. And the moment that line gets blurred, you'll drink again. And I like adhered to that. I paid a lot of attention because I really value my sobriety. And and so I know that they're just two worlds apart. You know what I mean? Like, it's so I know, which means I'm to be held accountable.
Right.
And so I'd say definitely 50-50. If I could, but who can gauge that?
Sure. So the stuff that you do, like help us out like with the business of Brandon Novak. And by the way,
Novak's house.
Yeah.
Novak's house.
Yeah, which is I recreated what worked for me, right? Like you did, I went to treatment and then I lived in a sober house for a year because that's what my sponsor suggested that I do because he did it. And at the time he had 13 years, so I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel, and I followed suit. And that house kind of taught me legit like how to wash my clothes. For the first month that I was in there, I was washing my clothes with dishwashing detergent. Because I didn't know.
Memory lane.
And then guys, and they're like, you can't wash your clothes with like dishwashing detergent. You need like I was really disconnected from reality, and it taught me how to integrate or merge back into the world, like as a quote unquote normal human being, and I realized the impact that had on me and what it did for me. So as I continued to stay sober, that being in that house was like some of the best times of my life.
Sure.
Like I would go back and do it in a heartbeat.
Life was very simple when I was in sober living.
It was so amazing.
How long did you detox for?
My detox was like the eye roll. That's even worse than screaming at him.
He's like, not Wendy. A human.
Not Wendy.
My detox was like probably, I was on detox meds for a week, but I felt like shit for probably 2 or 3 at least.
Yikes.
I didn't sleep right for like a couple months.
I feel like a lot of people don't want to get sober because they don't want that. They don't want the detox and they're scared to detox. You know?
That used to be my excuse in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I think I matured. I think a lot of things aligned. At all my attempts at recovery, these seeds were planted along the way. And then one day, like, it all just kind of aligned and this fucking skies parted and I walked across the fucking sea.
You have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Are you pretty active with it? I've seen your shit pop up on there.
Yeah, I as much as I can be.
Do you do your own editing?
No.
Okay.
I have a team that helps.
Yeah, because, I mean, dude, creating content, man, that's a fucking major livelihood.
It is. So I don't really pay much attention to it at all, but I do okay. And I've decided to take the money that I make from that to just invest in weird shit like Bitcoin and fucking things.
Dude, are you into Bitcoin?
Not enough to like let it determine my day. But, just in case it does explode and I don't miss the boat.
Well, that just happened. Kinda.
I know. Thanks, pal. Yeah, I fucking am well aware.
Right.
But, I'd rather try and fail than never try and wonder what if. Fuck it.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm. So I have so I recreated the house that I got sober in, and it's just a straight up sober house. And it's a men's house, and there's 12 guys in it, and it's not like insurance based. It's not really like treatment industry world shit. It's guys that come from the streets that like have no insurance or state insurance, and they have to come directly from treatment, which is what I was a product of, right? I didn't have like great insurance that allowed me to go to like a Beverly Hills place, and I have like people that have been generous enough to donate, financially to it, which then allows me to provide scholarships, and there's 12 guys in it, and unfortunately it's full, right? Because there's like a need for it, and I wish that wasn't the case. I wish I couldn't like get.
Well, sure. I mean, there's also like lots of dogs in the street in Peru, and I could only take one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I did was it
kind of different.
It inspired. That's why you're an asset, dude. and it created the fire in me to like want to get more and help more. So I acquired the house across the street. Last week it opened, and that's full. And now on my birthday, which is the 10th, I close on the 3rd house. So by the end of December, I'll have 40 beds. And I provide scholarships for all the gentlemen that come after completing 30 days of treatment to then having 30 days of a free bed, so they don't have to worry about like, where am I going to get a job to pay the rent for, because when you get out of treatment, it's like, so I'm not doing anything. I'm just getting a lot of assistance and through a lot of different ways for people to help.
So is there like a 501c3 like nonprofit organization people can donate to? I
looked into that, and the problem with that was if I turned it into a 501c3, then I wouldn't own the properties. It was like and that's kind of, although it provides an amazing service for a financially reasonable cost, it's also very nice to own the homes at the end, and I don't want to not own the homes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my 401k plan, if you will.
There's a B Corp where I think that's dual. It's 501 nonprofit
Yeah,
and profit.
I think you can do some ancillary 501c3 that would just create money for the scholarships, which isn't tied to the or something.
I was just told about that like last night, actually. So it's something. I mean, I've been. We've just celebrated our first year.
Okay, good.
So I'm not. I'm learning as I go. But it's an amazing cause that it brings me the most joy.
How much is it to scholarship somebody for a month?
Well, it's $180 a week, so times 4. I don't even know what that math is.
720.
Yeah.
Can you
Cool,
put me
man.
down for a scholarship and one guy for the month?
Really? Yeah.
Please.
That'd be amazing.
Totally.
So it's,
All right, dude,
that's
I'm in.
really.
So
Dude, give me 2 guys.
2.
Really?
Give me
Yeah.
2.
Dude.
No, give me 2.
Yeah.
Hey, it was 4.
So we
Dude.
got
At one point,
He's not
I would
gonna
have
one-up.
jerked off to that.
He's not gonna one up me on this one.
No.
Dude.
Dude, if you want 2, I don't want 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That you know the coolest thing about that is not only does it help the
And
individual.
it's not a tax write-off because it's not a 501c3, so we might as well just give them cash.
I'll Venmo you.
Oh, I'll put
Or
you
we'll
in
figure
touch
it
with
out,
the
but yeah,
person.
I'll
I don't
send it
really
over.
do the money thing, but the coolest thing about that is not only does the individual get the help, like the families get better too.
Totally.
Like the kids get better. It's such a snowball effect that goes so much further than people can really comprehend.
Yeah.
It's just so magical.
Cool,
That's
man.
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
I love it. Happy to do it.
Wow.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
dude.
you. I mean that. Thank you.
Fuck
That's-
yeah,
that's
dude.
cool.
Is there anything that you would like to promote other than that?
Just that I'm fucking sober.
I knew it, dude. I love
That's it, man. Fucking sober.
Dude.
Call me.
Oh my god, I love it, dude.
Dude, I
Thank
love you, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
love-
grateful that you're sober and
Yeah,
that
dude.
you continue to inspire. You getting sober like helped my mother not cry at night because it
Wow.
inspired me to like believe in me because I knew the last time we partied together, you held me hostage in a hotel room as you
Yeah.
did K and wouldn't let me leave, and I got scared. and I'm like, if that, same thing. If that
Right.
guy can do it, I can do it. And you inspired hope in me.
Well, dude,
So
I
thank
love
you,
dog.
man.
Thank you.
This was amazing, Scott. I love you.
Love
my
you
friend.
too,
This was a
dude.
juicy one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Thanks for providing the fucking YouTube video on how to shoot up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You save
Link in bio. Link in description.
save somebody's life, dude.
Or killed somebody.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a shockingly candid podcast from a shockingly candid guest. And here we are, man. I'm not kidding about being on this bucket list tour and taking care of myself. Yeah. I pound liquid death, I pound liquid IV, and I be pounding my sandwiches from DoorDash. That's all there is to it. And I'm also truly grateful for you guys. And again, I want to say this. The number of people who have told me on this bucket list tour that they are members of the street team. It warms my heart, man. And I'm just stoked on everything going on in my life right now. And thank you for being a part of it. Fuck yeah. Woo!